Right. Hey, what's up, y'all? So I have something great to talk about today. It's something that completely changed my life years ago when I had this realization, and it comes up all the time in conversations with clients and friends and family members. And it's what I call letting go of the mystic self. And I can't remember if I came up with that name myself. I think I did. If I did, I'm really proud of myself. If I didn't, I'm going to try to give credit to whoever it was when I figure that out. I've been doing it for so long, and it's the way that I kind of think and perceive life for so long, but I feel like it's something I came up with. But when you look up the definition of mystic, it says a person who claims to attain or believes in the possibility of attaining insight into mysteries transcending ordinary human experience. Basically someone that has obtained and achieved everything possible in life, right? So what I'm trying to say in this video is that there may be a tremendous benefit to letting go of the mystic self, letting go of this idea that you have to see and be and do everything in order to live a happy and fulfilling life. There is the possibility of having freedom from unintentional, self-inflicted suffering that comes from thinking that you have to see, be, and do everything. And the way that we do that is we scrutinize what it is that we think we want. And so I have a little framework that I'd like to share today, and again, I hope it's useful. A really good first question is, why do we have our dreams and goals? Like, why are we trying to do different things? I think most of us would agree, if we really think about it, we want to be happy. We want to live an amazing life, and we want happiness, and we think that by achieving certain things, it's going to give us this happiness that we're looking for, or maybe even make us immune to suffering to some degree. So then the question is, like, where do you get your dreams and goals? You know, where did they come from in the first place? I think most of us probably haven't thought about that, because most of us probably think there are dreams and goals. That means that they had to come from me. But when you really think about it, maybe they didn't. So I've had this realization, reflecting back on my life, that a lot of my dreams and goals really weren't my dreams and goals. They were what I thought that I was supposed to be doing, or expectations that were put on me unintentionally, unconsciously, by religion, by parents, by friends, by social networks, social pressures, and as I got older, career pressures and financial pressures and things like that, I realized that a lot of the things that I thought I want weren't really things that I truly wanted myself. They were things that I thought I was supposed to have and supposed to do and supposed to be and supposed to see. And the problem with this is that if your dreams and goals and your expectations aren't really yours, it lends itself to a lot of suffering, because if you don't achieve these things, then most of us are going to feel defeated and inadequate and like we're a failure. And that leads to a lot of unconscious background suffering. And they probably aren't even things that will actually make us truly happy. We have to figure out what those things are. And so maybe this will give you some insights into that. But what I do want to say is, I think a big idea here is that you do not have to see and be and do everything in order to live a happy and fulfilling life. And that doesn't mean that you're not chasing these things. That doesn't mean that you're not striving for and trying to do different things. It just means that you have to have a healthy perspective as you're going about this stuff. So like I said, when I was younger, I think there was a point in my life where I was truly innocent and truly had these dreams and visions and things that weren't really influenced by other outside factors as much. But then at some point, I think religious expectations, family expectations, friends, fitting in, that kind of morphed into me trying to do and become what I thought it was that I was supposed to be, based on making those people and organizations happy. And as I got older, I shifted into some career focuses and financial focuses and marriage focuses and things like that, that again, I don't think were truly mine, but I felt like it was what I was supposed to do, because that's kind of what we're told, right? A lot of the business and inspirational thought leaders that I followed, and I read a ton of books. Most of my life I was in sales, and I did insurance and managed an agency, and so I did a lot of those self-improvement type books, and every single one of those guys were talking about, like, you can have as much as you want and achieve as much abundance and success as you want if you work hard enough and you have the right mindset and all that kind of stuff. And I think there's some validity and truth to that, but I think it can kind of backfire and inadvertently contribute to some suffering. And so what I realized was when I got healthy, that was the happiest that I've ever been in my life. And I had achieved successes. I, had gone through years of doing really good financially and achieving certain levels of success within these different organizations that I was a part of. But I never found true happiness until I got healthy. When I got healthy, everything about my life changed. I realized that the dreams that I had, that I had, I'm doing quotes there, were actually causing me stress and anxiety, because there was a part of me that realized that I wasn't achieving them and I might not ever be able to. And then I would notice myself saying that, and I would have this self-inflicted denigration, because I'd be like, no, everyone should be able to achieve these things. These people that I follow and all the hot shots out there are saying that, you can achieve and be and do anything that you want. And again, I think there's some validity to that, but just hear me out on this. I realized that, hey, I'm not doing it, and I don't know if I'm going to get there. And so it caused a lot of suffering. And when I got healthy, I was happy, and then I began questioning what it is that I thought that I want. I was doing all of this values and vision work, a lot of the stuff that we teach clients and people that go through our progressions. And I realized that most of my happiness never came from achievements, because usually when I reached a goal or I had an achievement, there was some kind of a temporary satisfaction, but it was fleeting, and it was almost like this attitude of, okay, now what? Now what do I do, right? And I realized that the happiness I was experiencing came from the process and the journey of trying to achieve this stuff. The happiness I was experiencing was because I was healthy. My life situations continued to be challenging. I think life in general is a series of challenges and problems and things that you're trying to work with and deal with. And I noticed that there was all these ebbs and flows and ups and downs and ins and outs, and that never changed. But what did change was how I was perceiving those things, because I was so healthy. And it's like I could sit back and see that these ebbs and flows are always going to happen. There's nothing that I can do to make me immune to life challenges. But what I could do is be healthy. Through my health, I was showing up and being more present. Through that presence, I was able to see the ups and downs and ins and outs and not get so caught up in it. And that's where I was really experiencing some true happiness. And so again, the realization that I had was like, it's okay for me not to see and be and do everything. It's okay for me not to travel the world and see everything in this world. And it's okay for me not to make $1 billion and have houses in different locations. And it's also okay for me to want those things, but not to be attached to them. To enjoy the process and the journey more than being fixated on the achievement of those things or the lack of those things. Another thing that comes to mind is, for a lot of my life, I never found love that was lasting, that was real. And I felt like a failure there. I even had people that would tell me, like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're 40 years old, you're late 30s, you're 40 years old, and you're not married and kids. And I thought I was kind of proud and unique to be that way. And at some point I had a realization that I am very proud and unique to be that way. But again, like, I had all these dreams and expectations that I wasn't meeting. Then I had this realization after I got healthy, like, it's okay for me not to have and see and be and do everything to live a fulfilling life. And in fact, what I realized is that with health, I could pretty much do anything and be happy. I could wash dishes, I could be a janitor, I could do lawn work, and not that there's anything wrong with those things. In fact, the idea of showing up somewhere and having no responsibility and someone telling me what to do and earning a paycheck, as long as I could buy real food and have some kind of a fitness program in place and get to bed on time and get up early and have some time to meditate, if I could do those things and be healthy, I'm pretty sure I could be happy doing anything. And in fact, I'm going to do an experiment at some point in the future where I take 6 months and I travel some part of the world, like maybe Europe or something like that, and I just pick up odd jobs and I just continue to eat real food and do my thing and prove that happiness can come from health. So now we get into this framework, and I feel like this is a pretty solid little step-by-step process to help you maybe question the things that you think are important to you so that you can alleviate some of the suffering that might be coming from the lack of obtaining those things. And this is not to discourage you from wanting to achieve different things. It's just maybe helping facilitate you getting clear on what it is that you think you want. So the first step, we've said this many times, is to get clear on your values. And the reason this is important is because when you get clear on your values, you get clear on what is important to you as a person and the person that you're trying to become. And when you do this, it simplifies your life. It simplifies your decisions. As you come across different decision junctures, when you're clear on what your values are, then it's easier to make decisions, because you know that if I do this decision, it aligns with my values. If I do this other decision, it doesn't. So I probably want to go with the decision that aligns with my values. Just the process of figuring out your values helps you clarify a lot of things. And so one of the things we recommend people do is to break your life up into different life categories. And then within each one of those life categories, ask yourself, like, what is the most important thing to me in this area? And if you're not familiar with values and the terms of values, then there's a lot of different resources that can give you examples of values. But things like honesty, hard work, family, health, personal health is one of my most important values. But you want to segment your life into different categories so that it's easier to figure out what your values are in those categories. Maybe come up with 1 to 3 values per life category. And just that process by itself helps you clarify, wow, this is what's important to me. This is what I'm trying to do and become as a person. We'll share some resources as far as like list of values and things like that. But once you get that in place, the second step would be to create a vision for yourself. And a vision would be looking into the future. I'd say, maybe like 3 years, 5 years, something along those lines, and thinking like, what does life look like for the most awesome, amazing version of myself? What does life look like for the most awesome, amazing, healthy version of myself? Someone that's extremely happy. I would probably focus on states of being and characteristics more than I would be concrete goals and achievements or something along those lines. But you can, throw some of those things in there as well. But really just try to imagine, like, if I had everything the way that I wanted or needed, if I was financially stable and I was healthy and lived in the area that I liked or something along those lines, like what would that be like for me? What's my vision for myself in the future? And you may need to come back and rework this after you go through some of this. I found myself, as I learned some of these things, I'd go back and adjust my values and adjust my vision based on scrutinizing what I thought was important to me. Now again, the reason it's important to get clear on your values and vision is because they help you determine the kind of person that you want to be, and this helps you simplify your life and simplify your decisions, which is going to enhance your enjoyment. Limited decisions are liberating, because think about it, when you have a lot of decisions, it's overwhelming, it's anxiety provoking. When you have limited decisions, because you know the kind of person that you are and what your values are and what your vision for yourself is, it makes choices a lot easier. It simplifies things. And so those first couple of steps are really important, and then you want to sit down and question what it is that you think you want. And this is where the really fascinating work comes, because you need to just ask yourself, do these goals and dreams that I have, are they things that I truly want, or did they come from some kind of an external expectation? Is it things that I kind of put into place because it's things that I thought that I was supposed to do to be successful or to be happy? Is it things that I thought that I was supposed to do to fit in? And then once you start to scrutinize those things, you can let go of the things that aren't serving you and keep the things that are truly important to you. All right, now after you've done that work and you've gotten pretty solid on what you think are your values and your vision, and questioning what's important to you, you may have to circle back around to those things a couple of times and refine them. And again, that's a really exciting process. Then it's okay to have some goals and some dreams, as long as you have a healthy relationship with goals. And what I mean by that is, I think a lot of us have these things that we think are going to be silver bullets, right? We think that if we achieve a certain status, if we have a certain level of money, once we get a house, once we have a certain relationship or a marriage or kids, or once we achieve a certain body composition, that's going to be the thing that makes us happy. Once we learn how to meditate, that's going to be the thing that makes us happy. What we need to do is understand that the reason that we have goals is not because achieving those goals is going to give us a certain amount of happiness. It's because those goals give us direction, and they help us cultivate some action steps and some habits and routines. And if we've done this work with the values and the vision, then our goals or our dreams should be in alignment with those values and vision. And that also means that our action steps and our habits and routines are in alignment with those values and vision. So having a healthy relationship with goals is really important. I think another really useful concept is to understand that there's a lot of freedom and flexibility that comes from detachment from your goals. What we mean by that is that if I'm so dead set on my goal that if I hit it or don't hit it, that dictates my happiness or non-happiness, I've missed the point. I've defeated the purpose of the goal. The purpose of the goal is to get me to move forward, and what I want is some freedom and flexibility, meaning that as I move forward, I want to be open to possibilities, because I may get some new information and change my mind. But if I'm so dead set on this one thing and that I don't see these other possibilities, I don't have the ability to change my mind because I think there's something wrong with that, then I'm missing out on a lot of great opportunities. So having detachment from your outcome is very, very important and beneficial. And then also embracing what we call the wisdom of uncertainty. I think a lot of us also are looking for some kind of a prediction about the future. You know, we want to know what's going to happen tomorrow and next week and next month and next year. And the reality is we don't, because that's where the excitement of life happens. The known is the past. The future is the unknown, and that is where all the excitement and adventure of life happens. And I catch myself sometimes getting caught up about something coming up in the future and what that's going to look like or not look like. And I have to always remind myself that this is an adventure. I've done what I can to prep for it and get ready for it. And I have no idea what's going to happen between here and the end of this thing, but it's going to be an adventure. It's going to be great. I'm going to learn something from it. And it's just useful to understand this concept, because you can catch yourself getting caught up and have this conversation with yourself. And me and Arnica do it all the time. Sometimes we'll have these challenges that life throws at us and we're like, hey, this is going to be an adventure. Right? It's going to be great. So once you've gone through that process, you got your values, you got your vision, you got goals, but you got a healthy relationship with your goals, because now your goals and dreams are in alignment with your values and vision. And so then you can learn to actually appreciate and enjoy the process of chasing your dreams. I think this happens automatically when we've done this previous work, these previous steps, but it's also useful just to talk this out. It's cliche, but we always hear, enjoy the journey and not the destination. Life is about the journey, not the destination. I think most of us, including myself, are always like, okay, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, how do you do that, right? So again, doing these previous steps helps facilitate that. But then also just understanding that if I understand the goal is not what I'm after, the process is what I'm after, the action steps are what I'm after. Now I can actually take enjoyment in the process of getting better, the process of getting fitter, the process of getting healthier, because there's no end state to that. And that means that if I can find enjoyment in the process of those things, then that means that my enjoyment is going to be never ending, because I'm never going to stop trying to be as healthy as I can. I'm never going to stop having a fitness program in place. I'm never going to stop trying to build the SHT and do the best that I can with it. So now, the process doesn't imply an end state. Your happiness is not dictated by the achievement or obtaining of something. It is in the process and the journey of obtaining it, and that is a never-ending thing. And then finally, I just want to emphasize the importance of finding your own personal health and making that a huge focus. I was thinking about making that the first step, because like I said, my awakening, and a lot of the people that I work with and my friends and family members, their awakenings happen after they get healthy. And it's almost like it's automatic. So I would probably say that's the first step, but I mean, sometimes you're meeting this where you can, and maybe you just don't feel like that's a priority for you right now. So I just want to put out there that finding health is extremely important, because when you find health, you find yourself, and happiness is going to come automatically. If you can find a way to make health a priority, I think that a lot of these other things that you think are issues and problems start to dissolve, or they're not so intense and they're not so pressing. Just to give you a couple of stories, because I said I had some synchronicities over the past few weeks. Inevitably, as I'm working with my private clients, and by the way, I love my health coaching practice. Like, it's so fulfilling. Every time I work on someone, I work on myself. And I reinforce these concepts, and I figure these concepts out because I get feedback, we talk about it, I come back and analyze it myself, and then I do the work on myself, because I'm a work in progress too, right? But our health coaching sessions are so powerful. And so I had a session with one of my clients last week, and we never even talked about this stuff yet. She said, I just had this realization that what I thought I wanted, I don't think I want. Like, it's not what it's not making me happy the way that I thought it was going to. What's making me happy is getting healthy and being healthy right now. And so we had this great little discussion about like just questioning what it is that you think is important and how it's okay to be different and to be unique. And it's okay not to achieve all these things that we think we're supposed to achieve, and to see and be and do all the things that we think we're supposed to see, be, and do. And not that there's anything wrong with that either, as long as you can kind of confirm that those are things that are truly important to you. So it was just a really great dynamic discussion. And then that same day, I got on the phone with one of my nutrition and health cohorts. We've been in schools together for the past 10 years, and we're always in touch with each other. He lives out in California. We're always bouncing ideas off of each other. And so, of course, I'm like, how are things going? What's new? I hadn't talked to him in a little bit. And he was like, well, I'm still chipping away at my thing, and I'm on this new project. And he's like, I had this realization that I may never get to this point that I thought that I wanted to get to, and I'm totally fine with that because I'm freaking healthy, and I'm making a decent income, and I'm gonna keep trying, but like, my happiness is not dictated on achieving that. And I was like, dude, that is such a great synchronicity, because I just had this conversation with a client today, and then we got into this whole discussion. He asked me how things were going with me and the SHT, and I told him, like with the SHT, I was like, man, I'm still plugging away. I want this to become a national brand, if not a worldwide brand. I want to empower thousands of people, if not millions. And at the same time, if that doesn't happen by the time I die, I'm happy trying, and I'm happy being healthy and trying to get as healthy as I can and sharing that gift of health with other people. And whether I hit that point or not, I'm shooting for it. I want it. I want to create something big and beautiful and awesome for all the people that are involved. And at the same time, I'm very happy with the process and the journey. And I told him the same thing as I said earlier. Like, I'd be happy knowing what I know now. I feel like I could do just about anything, as long as I had access to real food and I could sleep good and had a fitness program in place and stuff like that. So it was just a really good discussion that kind of confirmed exactly what it is that we're talking about here. I also brought up, I just recently got engaged, married, and it was like, I had this idea that I was supposed to, be married by a certain age, have kids by a certain age, and people were putting pressure on me. And as soon as I let go of that, and I told myself, you know what, like, I'm happy. I can be alone the rest of my life and I'll be totally fine because I got health. When I had that realization, that conversation with myself, all of a sudden I found someone that was a perfect fit for me. It was just again, really synchronistic. So anyway, just to finish things off, I would say find health, find yourself. I think that makes a lot of this work easier, but we'll share the framework that we went through here earlier. But I want to make a shameless plug for making sure that you're connected with us in whatever way resonates with you. And the first thing is just understanding that in order to get health, because we talk about it a lot, you need education with the right information, and that's hard to find because there's so much misinformation out there. There's so many conflicting views. It's hard to tell what is the truth. And I feel like what we do is clarify the confusion, and we bring confidence to the people that we work with. So you need education with the right information. You need to facilitate some experience, putting that education into practice. And I think what makes us really unique is we have a community that we're building around it. It really helps to have the support of others. So if you're not connected with us, make sure that you join our newsletter at superhumantransformation.com. And then I would take a look at our freaking community, Superhumans United, because it's freaking awesome. Community.superhumantransformation.com. Inside this place, it's our own little social media platform. We own it. There's no drama. There's no advertisements. There's no politics. And we have all of our courses in there. We've got a huge recipe index, and we've got people in there sharing and posting most days. And it's really supportive and awesome, and we absolutely love it. And it gets better as time goes on. So that would be a great way to facilitate your health. So, all right. So that's what we call letting go of the mystic self. And if you follow those steps, I feel like you're going to see a lot of great things come out of it. And if you have any questions or comments or feedback, please send them our way. We hope to see you guys in the community, and you guys keep it real.